Hello, hello, what is going on, guys? Phoenix61 here with some Legends opinions, I guess. We'll do, yeah. Anyway, so what happened was I actually had a couple people, and like, I'm usually not the best at this, but like a couple of people ask about the 70% off coupon that's currently available for, I think, a few more days here. And I'm sure, like at some point another one's gonna come around, right? That's, there'll be a 50% coupon at someday, right? But so if you don't know about this one, it is in the, I think, a lot of the heavier players probably have the mission completed, but there was a mission in there for it, and it's, get so many wins or do so much damage or whatever, right? And then as you go into the store, if you push left stick down, at least that's what it is for Xbox, you go into this coupons section, and there's this 70% coupon on here, and you click A and go into it, right? And there's actually a lot of ships in here, and like these, 70% off the normal doubloons amount is a lot of, that's a good savings, right? So it is tempting to go in here and check these out, right? So like the Tiger 59, right, 12,500, right? So when you go to the coupon, you can see how much it, when you click on the ship, you can see actually how much less it would actually be, right? So I'll go through some of the ones that I have and that I like, and whether I think it's worth it or not, right? Like, I have the Hyuga, or no, I have, I must not have it, because it says I don't have it. What do I have? I thought I had a premium tier, maybe I have a tier 4 battleship for Japanese, but, okay, so here you can see I do have the Oklahoma, right? So it'll show up down here that it's already obtained, if you look in the bottom left, right? And so, it's tier 4, and, so I would recommend this one, but like, only if you don't have a good tier 4 premium that you like, right? So most of the reason I have some premium ships is because I want to do the premium supplies missions, right? So I want to have one for every, level that I either enjoy and or am good at, right? I have the Atlanta as well, so that's tier 6, American cruiser, right? That's one of those like fast firing, higher flying, harder to aim bullet cruisers, right? So if you like that style, that's a decent choice too, right? And that's, that's a little, it's tier 6. So as you get higher in tiers, these become more expensive too, right? So Graf Zeppelin, this is, if you like carriers, this is a good carrier, right? Like, so, and this one, I have seen people with the Graf Zeppelin, I have seen people buy, so I actually don't have this one, but I've played against it quite a bit. Like, I see it out there quite a bit, so that kind of tells me it's maybe decent. But I have seen people have the secondaries up to a pretty good range, right? So it looks like they start at 5.5, but yeah, so that's kind of an interest. Like, I've seen people do that kind of an interesting build there with that ship. But Wichita, this is one that I think a lot of people have an opinion that is kind of an overpowered ship. Like, this is a strong ship. If you like the American cruisers, this would be a really, really good choice. But even with 70% off, it's still 5,250 doubloons. So, like, me personally, like, I've got some American cruisers that I like to play. I've got other tier 7 premium ships that I enjoy playing, that I do well in, that I make good silver amounts in, right? So like, if I didn't have one and I maybe had a few more doubloons in my pocket right now, then maybe I would get the Wichita, right? So like, I think Wichita and the Yodachi, that's towards the bottom right on this page, are probably two of the ones that I kind of hear people make comments about them being too tough, right? About them being too strong, right? So like, those would probably be my top picks, especially at tier 7, personally, so because I like cruisers. I personally like cruiser play, and I also like Japanese destroyer play. I get made fun of for playing Shimikaze here and there, right? Like, that's me, right? So, and Yodachi is like kind of one of those things, right? Like, you can put a torpedo launcher reload booster on this thing, right? So 2 racks of 4 torpedoes that go 10 kilometers, right, that are pretty, 67 knots, pretty decent speed, right? Like, some good strong Japanese torpedoes here, right? And you can add this reload booster, so technically you could send like 16 torpedoes at tier 7 quite quickly, right? If you wanted to, right? If you really wanted to just dump them, right? So that would be, I would probably pick that or the Wichita if I was going for, like, you know, the big spending ones, right? But in all honesty, like, there's, I don't know, like, you know, they come around again at some point. And, you know, Atlantico, I think this one's just because it's been a little more recent, right? But I've seen this ship out there quite a bit. And this has, people like to do secondary battery builds with this. So, like, that wouldn't be a bad choice either if you like those kind of, you know, the secondary battery build, you know, gameplay style, right? Like, that's not a bad choice either. Yeah. Cossack Flander. This one, I do have this one. I thoroughly enjoy playing this ship. I think what a lot of people don't know is you can do a secondary battery build with this ship, and that is what I have done. The secondaries are quite good on this ship as well. So that's what I went for and built into. So you can see firing range here, 10.4. That's with my, you know, my commander and my the mods that I chose to put on it, right? Like, that's not the base, right? So that's how I have that ship outfitted. It get there up to 10.4 kilometers there, right? So Warspite, I have Warspite. That's the tier 5 British battleship, right? Like, it's good, but I personally wouldn't, if I didn't have it, I would not pay 3,000 doubloons for it, right? There's other things I would pick. Like, I think, like, doubloons wise, honestly, I would go, instead of spending, you know, 5,000-ish on a ship, you know, like, mine would be good too. Like, but I have a couple tier 6 premiums that I enjoy playing. So I'm like, I'll leave it to chance that I get it in some random crate, you know, from some event or something later, right? Like, I'll leave these out there, right? But yeah, like, I was gonna say, like, if I'm gonna spend like 5 grand doubloons, I'd probably go and pick the commander that I'm most interested in from, like, the current collaboration, which of course right now is the Blue Archive, right? But anytime that this comes up when there's, like, sales on ships and stuff, yeah. Indianapolis, I have the Indianapolis. If it's, you know, if you like that, the, like, Pensacola, you know, American cruiser, right? Like, it's similar kind of play style, but you also get a radar, right? So, like, it's good. I think you only got 1 turret in the back instead of 2, right? But, like, you know, like, I don't think I'd pay the doubloons for it here, right? Like, because I've got others. If you don't have a lot, you'll get some at some point for free or for global XP, right? There's always premium ships you can buy for global XP. Go look at those in the store as well. I do have the Dunkirk. It's good, but I'm not crazy about it, right? I think, yeah. Yeah, but if you like, yeah, it's French battleship, right? Like, it's not. Nelson, I did see Nelson in here, and I like that. That's one that I see some of the cooler YouTube, you know, people out there playing, and I was like, that looks like it'd be good. This a Kotnik, I'm sure I'm saying this wrong, but this Soviet destroyer. Now this one maybe. Like, because you're down at tier 4, so it takes you under, you know, 1,800 doubloons. But it's literally just a long, skinny ship with just guns and torpedoes just saturating the deck, right? Like, these are... So this is, what, like, how many guns? Yeah, you 7 guns, you know, that, you know, turn all the way around it any which way, I think. I think they turn 360, right? And then it's tier 4. So, like, to me, like, this is fun because, like, it's tier 4. I don't crazy to care if I win or lose. When I play this ship, I'm playing to be an idiot and have fun with it, right? And part of that is also because there's so many guns on it. Like, the turret traverse speed's slow. You gotta keep that in mind. That's kind of normal for the Russian stuff, you know, their destroyers. But torpedoes here, 4 launchers of 3. So at tier 4, you know... So you can send 12 torpedoes, but the range is crap, right? 4.7 kilometers, and that's with, I think the base is probably 4.5, right? Like, I probably have a commander perk in there that's getting up to 4.7. So it's basically your suicide run brawler destroyer, right? And, like, I've had some fun moments in this ship. Like, I think I've got some in my, like, devastating strike compilation videos that I usually have in the comments, right? Like, I think there's a couple examples of me just going balls to the wall in that ship just because it's fun, right? So some of these others I have the Exeter, like, you know, the Monaghan. I have this one. This is a good tier 5 American destroyer. It is what you would expect out of a lot of other American destroyers, right? Like, decent guns, you know, it's a good, well-rounded, right? Like, you get this nice smoke screen, speed's good, torpedoes are good, they're good, guns are decent, you know, like that kind of, right? Like, it's well-rounded. I do play that one. I do have a high win percentage in that one, just because a lot of times I was playing as it specifically just to get a win for the day at tier 5, right? So, yeah. London I have, it's a very British cruisery type of cruiser, right? Like, it's made of explodium if you get hit in the sidewall, right? Cheshire, like, that's pretty cool. Like, you know, that one maybe would, you know, that'd be an interesting ship to have or play, but right, like, I think I'm getting, you know, 3,000, you know, doubloons. I'm like, I personally, I'd rather buy one of the commanders, right? Because those will affect multiple ships that I am already good at playing and are, you know, that I enjoy and haven't had to spend real money on, right? So, Benham, kind of same situation here too. The Benham, this is my fun to play tier 6 destroyer, because you get, you can see here right in the middle of the ship here, 2 launchers of 4 torpedoes on each side on this ship. And so, you know, 16 torpedoes on a destroyer at tier 6 is pretty crazy. The range isn't the greatest. I think it's probably 7.5 base, so it's up to 7.9 with whatever commander perks or whatever I put on there, right, for that one. This Munchin or Munchin, right, like, I have this one. It's, to me, in my, you know, somebody else, like, give me your opinions down below, right? But in my opinion on that one is it's very much just a German cruiser, right? Like any other German cruiser, I wouldn't say it's that much different or better than the regular tech tree lines, right? Florida's one I see out there a lot. You know, obviously this Japanese carrier, right? Like, if you really like carriers, that's your opportunity to get it cheap, right? And guarantee you get it, right? If you're a ship collector, right? But yeah, Wichita. I think Wichita and Yodachi down here are kind of the two that I personally know and would call out that, like, people kind of think are, like, overpowered, you know, heavy hitting ships for their tiers, right? So, but, like, in the store right now, this is kind of what I'm getting at, is you've got, you know, there's 4 or 5 commanders in here right now that, you know, and these do kind of double duty, right? So, like, yes, this one here is a German brawler battleship commander, and there's like 2 free-to-play ones that are, you know, decent for brawling for German battleships, right? But then you'd also get whatever her base trade is, right? There's just kind of unique perks that sometimes give you just like this tiny bit of an edge over a regular commander, right? Like, just this, nothing that can't be overcome with, you know, good gameplay, right? Like, so, but, like, I think I look at 2 things in here when I'm looking at commanders. I consider, one, the base trait. Is that something that I might put as an inspiration on other commanders? Because then that kind of, in my mind, my own personal playstyle feelings and thoughts and all those other things, right? Like this one here, I like playing cruisers, and so this base trait has cruiser main battery reload time and main battery dispersion, right? And so I might, and with the base trait, you could put that on any commander regardless of country, right, as an inspiration. So I'm like, I'm kind of interested in that one because I might use that base trait elsewhere, and I might use that for my heavy cruisers, my heavy French cruisers, because that's where you're supposed to put that commander, right? So this one's the British destroyer commander, basically, is what they're kind of going for with this one. And that's a decent base trait too. I might put that on other destroyer commanders as an inspiration trait, right? So kind of look for 2 things. I look for what's that inspiration, and would I use that in other places? And if the answer is no, then that kind of takes away from me wanting to buy that commander. And then the other thing is this, does this commander, is it a country for a country that I enjoy playing, and is it for a ship class that I enjoy playing, right? So like, how often would I use this commander in real life versus just having them because they're cool, or having them just to have them because you got to collect them all because that'd be freaking expensive, right? So I think, like, yes, like, I think if you really got the itch for a new ship, the Wichita or Udachi would be my personal picks because I don't have those, and I kind of feel like people think those are pretty tough ships. But personally, I would pick a commander at 5,000 doubloons that I think I would get the most use out of. Which one would I use the most, right? But that is my thoughts and feelings for the day, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're following the channel. World of Warships videos pretty much every day. See you next time.